today's video, we want you to avoid making some common mistakes during your visit to Barcelona. Part of the advice we are about to share can be applied to other cities too. Part is specific to Barcelona. Hola, hello, I am Tony Galvez and this is Road Trip Spain and Portugal, where we help you plan the perfect trip with practical information and insider tips. In the video description, we will provide links to all the videos and resources mentioned throughout the program. Let's go through the mistakes you should avoid. Mistake number 1, not spending enough time in Barcelona. In the video with our basic guide to Barcelona, we discuss how many days you should spend in the city. The message is quite simple, the more days the better. In addition to being a city with a lot of content, it has an incredible series of day trips such as Girona, Montserrat, Tarragona or Sitges. And to visit all these places you need time. If you spend too little time in Barcelona, you will return home with a feeling that you have done everything in a hurry and missed many interesting places. Do you want a leisurely visit to the city? Spend 5 nights there, so that you have 4 full days, and add a day for each day trip you intend to do. The second mistake is to think it's always warm in Barcelona. Barcelona enjoys a Mediterranean climate and doesn't suffer the extreme temperatures typical of the interior of Spain. During the summer months, it can get quite hot and humid, but snow is a rare event in winter. However, you would be mistaken to think it's never cold in Barcelona. Temperatures under 10 degrees Celsius are not rare during the winter months. In times of climate change, our advice is to wait about 5 days before you travel for a reliable weather forecast so you can pack for the next few days. Mistake 3 is staying far from the center to save money. It is not the first time, nor it will be the last, that we mention this mistake in the channel. Staying far from the center with the sole aim of saving money can be a mistake. We are not saying that you can't save far away. What we want is that when making this decision, in addition to analyzing the cost of accommodation, you consider 2 other variables. Expenditure on public transport to and from the hotel every day. A couple will spend at least 4 transport tickets per day, and the time wasted to get to and from the hotel every day. There are people for whom their own time has no value at all. For us, it does. If you are one of those who think your holiday time is as valuable as the time you spend working, do an easy calculation. Price your free time at an hourly rate and add that amount to the calculation of the cost of staying far away. In Barcelona, in more remote locations outside the city, you can lose between 1 and 2 hours a day getting to and from the hotel. Now, if the maths work out for you, if the hotel is really cheap, go ahead and book it. We've done it many times before, although less and less often. In Barcelona, you will be okay in any address within the city and close to an underground station, but do avoid staying in cities 20 or 30 kilometers from Barcelona. And if you are interested in knowing the best regions to stay in Barcelona, don't miss the channel's video on the subject. Mistake number 4, renting a car. Renting a car to drive around Barcelona is a huge mistake. You will have to study the traffic restrictions for private vehicles to understand where you can drive without being fined. You'll have to leave your car in a paid car park that won't be very cheap, and you may spend part of your holidays in endless traffic jams. Barcelona's public transport is excellent, but if you prefer the comfort of a private car, use taxis. It will be faster, more comfortable and cheaper than a rented car. Mistake 5, not booking your Sagrada Familia and Park Güell tickets in advance. The Sagrada Familia and the Park Güell are the 2 Barcelona attractions where you shouldn't show up without a ticket booked in advance. Both attractions only allow access at pre-designated time slots. The number of visitors is so large that the ticket office usually will have tickets for a time slot 4 or 5 hours later, if it has any tickets for that day at all. Avoid the frustration of not getting to know 2 extraordinary places in Barcelona and book your tickets for the Sagrada Familia and the Park Güell in advance. It can be a week, 10 days before the date of your intended visit. It doesn't have to be much more than that. Mistake number 6. eating at Las Ramblas. Most cities have their tourist traps. In Madrid it's the Plaza Mayor, in Barcelona it's the Ramblas. Eating at Las Ramblas is a huge mistake. You will get food of an inferior quality at hugely inflated prices. For the price of a mediocre meal at Las Ramblas, you can eat at the wonderful Fonda España a few meters away. Mistake 7. Using public transportation with bulky luggage. Barcelona's public transport network is excellent, especially out of the airport, but many people tend to forget two things. The first one is that getting on a metro or train with luggage is not the same as without. Especially from a safety point of view, when you get off a train carriage with a high step with luggage in a crowded station, you become an easy target for pickpockets. And the second is that there are stations in the Barcelona metro where you will have to walk up the stairs. Therefore, consider the possibility of leaving the airport by taxi if you are traveling with large luggage. You are not obliged to do so, we just suggest you consider it. It will be a bit more expensive, but you will start your trip in a relaxed way. Mistake 8. Trying to have early lunch or dinner. If you find a restaurant in Barcelona, and we're not talking about fast food here, that serves lunch at midday and dinner at 7 p.m, you can be sure that it is a place for tourists. Although Barcelona is a very touristy city, and although many places try to adapt to foreigners' schedules with, for example, continuous cooking between lunch and dinner, it is normal for traditional restaurants where we locals go not to start serving lunch at the earliest at 1 p.m. and dinner at 8:30. Mistake 9. Not paying enough attention to your personal belongings. Just because walking the streets of Barcelona day or night is delightful doesn't mean you should relax completely when it comes to personal safety. The main threat is pickpocketing, and pickpockets know where the tourists are. So be careful with your documents, money and mobile phone. Always keep them close to your body in a place that it is difficult to access. Be especially careful on public transport, in restaurants and in places where large crowds gather. Mistake 10. Only visit La Boqueria. La Boqueria is Barcelona's most famous market. The problem is that it stopped being a true local market many years ago. Over-tourism transformed its character and keeps locals away from it. Most stalls you will see at the market's entrance and most bars are there for you, the tourist. We are not saying you should not visit La Boqueria, but if you like real markets where locals do their shopping, there are many in Barcelona and some are truly pretty. You don't have to leave the historic center to find the Mercat de Santa Catarina and the wonderful Mercat de Sant Antoni. Mistake 11. Call Barcelona Barça. The next mistake you should avoid is a true classic among foreign tourists visiting Barcelona. Barça is one of the local football teams, the most famous of all. The city is called Barcelona, so don't call Barcelona Barça. Mistake 12. Throw your transport ticket away. Barcelona is one of the few large cities in Spain where paper tickets are still used to pay for the public transport. The situation will change soon, but at the time being, paper tickets are still being used. When you use up the ticket, there's nothing to do with it but throw it in the bin. It's just that some people do that before leaving the metro station or getting off the bus. And if an inspector asks for your ticket after you've thrown it in the bin, it won't do any good to cry, you'll get a fine. So don't throw the ticket away until you have left the metro station or got off the bus. Mistake 13. Not to look at the pavement. Looking at the ground in Barcelona has its rewards. Many of the pavements in the city center are covered with pieces that were designed more than a century ago. Barcelona's panots, the pavement tiles, are a beautiful sight. There are simple and more elaborate designs, some created by modernist artists such as Gaudí and Puig i Cadafalch. The tile is an example of a success story, helping to create an image of a city full of art and history where there is a desire to conserve and showcase its cultural heritage. Pay attention on your walks around the city, especially in the Eixample district. Mistake 14. Not to visit the Hospital de Sant Pau. There are so many interesting places to visit in Barcelona, but one of the most overlooked by tourists visiting the city is also one of the most extraordinary, the Hospital de Sant Pau, the largest modernist complex in the world and an attraction of incomparable beauty. So don't do like most people and take the opportunity to visit the hospital, which is very close to the Sagrada Familia. The hospital is the underrated Barcelona attraction. And mistake 15 would be not to plan your stay in Barcelona. Organizing a trip is more complicated than it seems, but having even the most basic program is the secret to making the most of your trip. Study Barcelona carefully and plan your steps accordingly. Pay special attention to the opening times of the places you want to visit and also to their locations to avoid unnecessary journeys. As always, if you have any questions, take advantage of the commentary box to ask. If you find the video useful and want to leave us a thumbs up, we'll be grateful, and even more so if you dedicate a super thanks to our work. You will now see on the screen our basic guide to Barcelona with everything you need to know to plan a perfect trip to the capital of Catalonia. Make sure you don't miss the video, we'll see you there.